Hi, my name is Terry Gabbard, and I'm one of the theater teachers here at Ardrey Kell High School. We are so excited to present our second show of the school year, Theater of the Mind, a night of radio plays. This project took our Theater 3 students a full semester to complete, where they researched and wrote original radio dramas in the style of the 1940s. I'm incredibly proud of the work that went into this, and I know you're going to enjoy it. Before we begin, I hope that you'll consider donating to AK Theater. AK Theater is supported only through ticket sales and donations, and with a lack of live theater events this year, we're in need of some financial support. There is a link in the video description below, which will take you to payforschoolstuff.com, where you can make your donation. Again, thank you for your time and enjoy the show.
Tonight, on the WAKK Broadcasting Network, we present to you Theater of the Mind, a night of extraordinary tales. We have gathered some of the most bone-chilling stories we can find and compiled them into one night of entertainment. This first story is no crack-up tale, ladies and gentlemen. What you will hear will make you teem with fear and discomfort. So get comfortable, get your friends and family, and gather them around the radio for a truly unforgettable story. This is not something you will want to miss. Tonight, I proudly present to you A Deadly Raid in Retrograde.
Welcome to the town of Lanesville, a quiet town. The wind soars through the streets and sprinkles up dust in its passing. Folks grab cups of joe at the Sleepy Creek corner store, stroll around the block, and keep to themselves. A quiet town with many secrets. You see, 5 years ago, a young lad named Bobby accidentally drove his car over the Wilson Bridge. Why did this happen to poor old Bobby? I wish I could tell you. Strange thing was, no one ever found his remains. The townsfolk looked and looked for weeks, but no sign of him was ever found. It's like Bobby vanished away like the morning fog when the sun comes up. Bobby was gone, leaving behind a wife and a child. We were all saddened by this tragedy, deeply saddened. But people forget. They move on with life and start talking about the weather again and about last night's big ball game. Townsfolk forgot about poor Bobby, except one. Now, 5 years later, we meet a dame named Beth and her dear daughter Sally, who have just settled down for supper.
Mother, what is for dinner this evening?
Oh dear, we're having your favorite, chicken pie. Oh my, I better get that. Sally, may you please set the table?
Yes, Mother.
Darling Beth, how are you today?
Faring just well. And you?
Oh, terrified. You won't believe what I've heard from the daily paper. There's a burglar roaming our streets. I'm so worried for you and your dear Sally. Make sure you keep your doors and windows locked for safety. You've already lost your husband. I would hate for more tragedy to strike your family.
I appreciate your warning, Mary. Sally and I will be sure to stay safe.
Oh, enjoy your supper, Beth. And don't forget to lock your doors. You never know what's going to happen next in this town.
Oh, Sally, how awful it is that there's a burglar in our town. I bet it's that filthy homeless man who plants himself outside of Sleepy Creek corner store. Oh dear, forks go on the left and knives on the right, you silly girl.
Sorry, Mother. Oh, could we turn on the radio? I hear Judy Garland will be playing tonight.
Sally, the dinner table is only appropriate for conversation.
Please, Mother. I'll help you with the dishes.
Oh, will you now? Well, I suppose.
Thank you. Mother, supper is so yummy tonight. The chicken is delicious.
Thank you, my darling.
Beth and Sally finish their flavorsome chicken pies. a warm dinner, a comfortable dinner, with Sally dancing to her favorite Julie Garland songs around the kitchen. Beth danced with her, as far as her legs could carry her. With bare feet on the cold kitchen floor, they danced and danced till their gams gave in. They felt happy, unafraid, unbeknownst to the dark cloud of familiarity, slowly and methodically approaching their home. Now might be a good time to tell you that in the town of Lanesville, people did well for themselves. There was very little poverty, and the few homeless folks tended to stand out a bit. There was one man who goes by the name of Ford. That wasn't his real name, of course. Ford didn't seem to know his name, or much of anything about his past. If anyone ever asked where he got the name Ford, his response was always the same.
Ford is my name, 'cause Ford is something I lost. I suppose.
Ford spent his nights sleeping on the cold wooden bench outside Sleepy Creek corner store next to the dim, flickering street lamp. He had no money, so to provide for himself, he often wandered into homes to burgle valuable items. He'd never been caught, and never planned on it. On occasions, Ford would pay a visit to the abandoned building on 6th Street, near the rundown diner. There was where he kept his gun, a mask, and any money and valuables he owned. He chose to sleep out on the bench outside of the corner store to avoid any suspicion of foul play. On this particular dark and dreary night, he felt as if he recognized where he was, if only for a moment.
Lane Street. Why did Lane Street sound familiar?
He reckoned he spent a few nights sleeping on its corner, so he wandered down the sidewalk.
12209 Lane Street. Well, let's hope this house holds something worth selling.
Inside 12209 Lane Street, Beth blew the waxy dripping candles out and sent her nightly prayers, hoping for nothing to happen to her home.
Dear Father in heaven, protect my daughter and I, for there is danger in our town. And please, keep an eye on my husband, wherever he is. In the Lord's name, amen.
And Sally put her hair in 2 loop braids, slipped on her silk nightgown, and tucked herself into bed for a good night's rest. She shut her young eyes and quickly fell into a deep slumber. Outside, the old geezer Ford wandered past Sally's window before he snuck in through the back door with his lockpick. He slowly pasted the pick into the lock. His greasy hands fidgeted with the lock while he waited for a click, until...
Works like a charm.
While Ford rustled through the downstairs, Beth slept soundly, cuddled up on the left side of the bed. The right side still vacant. Beth could have spread out a little bit, but sleeping in the middle never felt right to her. Ford stepped into the back of the home. He smelled the leftover aura of the chicken pie. He felt the dust from the floor sinking into his boots. He took each step with extreme precision and care, as he made his way to the parlor. He stopped. What was that in the corner?
A piano.
Ford placed his damaged finger on the cold keys.
I think I used to have one of these as a kid. Oh man, I remember the cold feel of the keys and how I could play as if there was no one watching.
He said, so he's made his way into the kitchen. He waltzes around the kitchen until he spotted something with his wandering eyes.
How beautiful.
Sitting on the table, a tablecloth, silky and smooth, with daisies embroidered on the perimeter.
I can almost recall a beautiful woman sitting in a rocking chair, sticking a needle into a cloth like this,
he whispered. Ford looked at the cloth, then wandered near the plate sitting on the counter. He quickly spotted a little ceramic plate with a small handprint in the center of it. He picked it up and ran his fingers over the ridges engraved in the plate. It was a child's handprint. He traced over the wrinkles. The smooth and cold ceramic became slippery from sweat. Ford gripped onto the plate and quickly tried to stuff it in his sack, but his fingers slipped. As the plate was crashing to the ground, Ford's hand grazed the child's hand's imprint on the plate. He felt as if he remembered holding a little girl's hand. Their hands swung together, playfully, while the little girl laughed. He drops it onto the ground. Up in Beth's room, she shot up wide awake and walked downstairs.
Sally, dear? Sally, is that you?
Ford put out his gun.
Stand back! Stand back!
The moonlight peeked through the kitchen window, and Beth caught a wee glimpse of Ford's face. Under the beard and dirt stuck to his face, her eyes glimmered with a small sliver of recognition. She cried, but no words escaped her mouth, and lunged toward Ford.
I said stand back!
Ford pulled the trigger. Beth fell to the floor, right as Sally made her way downstairs.
Mother, did you call my name? Is everything all right? Mother!
Why did you have to go and do something like that? I told her to stand back. Didn't I? Oh no, I didn't mean to.
Ford considered what he had done. His sweaty hand shook, barely holding onto the gun. His breath was steady, but his mind was racing like a wildfire. Sure, he was a burglar, a crook, a thief, but not a murderer. He had never done something quite like that. Ford made his way through the house, pacing. That was until he spotted a photo hanging from the wall. A photo of the woman, Beth, alongside her daughter, and someone else. Someone...
Oh God, no.
Him. Bobby Davis, Beth's husband and Sally's father. Him, Beth, and 1-year-old Sally, all standing in front of his 1938 Ford.
Tonight's next story is brought to you by Tootsie Roll, a delicious chocolatey treat that's clam jam full of energy and is a great start to every day. Now, let's get back to those stories. Thank you, Deadly Raid and Retrograde. That truly was a wonderful story. Now, we would like to welcome you to Theater of the Mind. Here at Theater of the Mind, we like to make you think, make you ponder reality. Now, we cannot promise that you won't jump with fright or have your hair stand on end. We can promise that no actual harm will come to you while you enjoy these stories. Now, let us take over your mind. Let us paint a portrait of suspense. So, sit back, relax, and let the tale seep in. Tonight we bring you a story so twisted and cruel that you will consider who you bring into your home. Danger is around every corner, especially when you are the one.
We open in a musty, blank room. The hum of the air conditioner as it spits out cold air serves as a chilly undertone for the questioning of Diane Lawrence. The fluorescent bars beam and fill the room with pale and unforgiving light. 2 people sit at a table. One is nervous and visibly shaking. The other, while staring over at the young woman.
Diane Lawrence, my name is Detective Grouse, and I am here, as you know, looking into the murder of your boyfriend.
He was my fiancé, actually.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were engaged.
The first time I met Charles, I knew that he was the one. I'm sure he was going to ask me to be Mrs. Diane Worthington that very night, if I hadn't gotten such a dreadful headache. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. This is hard for me.
My condolences. Could you take me back to that night? You said that it started when he took you out to dinner, is that right?
Yes, we went to our favorite restaurant, Daydream. It's where we first met. It was a lovely evening, but...
Through tear-filled eyes, Diane Lawrence, nearly Mrs. Diane Worthington, recounts a lovely evening between herself and her love Charles at Daydream. Soft, warm light fills the restaurant as the two dine at a worn oak table.
I know Daydream is our favorite restaurant, so I thought it would be keen to bring you here tonight.
Thank you, dear. That was very thoughtful of you.
How was your day, sweetheart?
Oh, it was lovely. How was yours?
It was fine. Work is difficult, as always, but having dinner with you is always the joy of my day.
As the dinner came, the dim lights and music set the mood, and the lovely conversations continued. Soon they had finished their meals and were eager to enjoy the rest of the night, but neither knew what was to come in their near future.
How was your dinner, Diane?
It was delicious. Thank you. How was yours?
It was perfect, just like you.
Charles and Diane had been together for almost 3 years and had been acquainted before. Ever since they had met, Diane knew that he was the one. He was perfect for her.
Would you like to go back to my place for a drink?
I would love that, Charles. So, we went back to his apartment. I heard those prying neighbors whispering about us being together so late at night, but I thought nothing of it. Goodness, Charles's neighbors can be so intrusive. We had a glass of red wine before I began to feel my god-awful headache, so I planned to go back to my parents' house for a tablet of Anacin. That wine had been so beautiful. It was the loveliest, deepest shade of red. If I had to choose any color, that would be the one. Charles seemed upset that I was leaving, like he had plans for that night. But I left anyway. I'm so sorry I did. If only I had known.
Diane, I know this is hard, but I need you to answer a question for me. What time did you arrive at the apartment? What time did you leave? And what time did you find the body?
Oh, yes, of course. Time. Well, we arrived at his apartment around 7:30. I left the apartment at around, 7:40. Yes, it was 7:40. I remember, looking at the clock on the wall and seeing the time. It was 7:40.
And what time did you find the body, Diane?
Are all of these questions necessary?
Diane, if you want to find out who murdered your soon-to-be fiancé, you need to cooperate with us. Now answer the question. What time did you find the body?
Yes, I found it at around 8:40. Yes, that would make sense. It was around 8:40. I'm sorry, I need to take my anxiety pills.
Diane, do you mind if we speak to one of your parents about this? Is one of them here with you today?
Of course. My mom is waiting for me out in the lobby.
So Diane left the grim room, crying in grief. Detective Bruce beckoned Betty Lawrence, Diane's mother, into the vacant room. Betty walked into the room, chills running down her spine. She sat where her daughter had been stared down, at the table. She had loved Charles like a son and thought that he would most definitely be the one.
So, Mrs. Lawrence, I just have a few questions that I want you to answer to help me understand the story. Diane told us that she got a headache the night of the murder and came back to the house to get some Anacin. Can you recall what happened when she got back?
I really don't see why this is necessary, Detective. I need to get my daughter home. As you can imagine, it's been a dreadful evening, and all this questioning is only making matters worse. Well, it wasn't too late, probably around 8 o'clock.
Betty looks off at the empty walls and recounts through a deadpan voice what happened that night.
Diane, darling, what are you doing home? You were supposed to be having a wonderful evening with Charles.
Sorry, Mom. I don't mean to disrupt you. I have a terrible headache. Is there any way you could get me some Anacin?
Of course. I wonder why your head hurts so much. Must be the anxiety pills you have to take.
Diane sat on the couch as Betty walked briskly up the stairs to get her daughter some Anacin. As she came back downstairs, she noticed Diane looking slightly pale.
Diane, is something else wrong? You are acting unusual.
I don't know. It's just that Charles was acting peculiarly tonight. He seemed upset that I had to go, not his usual self. Should I go check back up on him?
If that's what you need to do, you should. Whatever is best for you, honey. And that's when Diane left. She wasn't home for very long, maybe 10 minutes or so. But the drive is around 20 minutes long, so she was gone for a while. Finding her fiancé had expired was devastating. It hurt her so much. He was the one for her. Are we finished here? I have other matters to attend to.
Well, Thank you, Mrs. Lawrence. Your cooperation is very helpful.
I really don't see how this is helpful. It's only causing my family more pain. But, if I may ask, who is coming in for questioning next?
I don't normally discuss the details of my investigation, but since you're so close with the murder victim, it's the neighbor Louise. She needs to come in and validate when she heard Diane and Charles enter the apartment and see if she heard or saw anything suspicious that night.
Oh, very well then. This has been a questionable use of my time, but hopefully it will help somehow. I'll see myself out.
So Betty left the room, leaving only the table, 2 chairs, a lamp, some coffee, and one baffled detective. There was no evidence of Diane, but who else could it have been? The neighbor would have to clear some things up. Detective Grouse left the room and beckoned a tall woman with short, curly brown hair. This was Louise, Charles's next-door neighbor. They had been acquaintances ever since Charles had moved into the apartment next door, but had never really had a long conversation. Louise walked into the cold room and sat down, clutching her pearls that hung around her neck.
Hello, Mrs. Young. Can you go through the night of the tragedy from your perspective?
Of course, Detective Grouse. Anything to help. Well, I was home all night.
Louise starts to describe what happened that dreadful night.
Gushing gumdrops! I forgot to pick up my mail today.
Louise exclaimed. She would tend to talk to herself a lot, leaving an impression on many people, but Louise did not care. She headed downstairs into the lobby and grabbed her mail when she heard the familiar voice of her neighbor Charles. She saw he was with a young woman, barely shorter than him in her short heels. They held hands as they inched closer to the elevator. Grabbing the last of her mail, she followed them to the elevator and got in with them when it finally opened, but stayed silent the whole ride up. The tension in the elevator was unnerving. Diane and Charles seemed tense, but Louise had never been very good at reading people's emotions. The elevator jumped from the 12th to the 14th floor, skipping the 13th for good luck. As they exited the elevator, Louise noticed the pair walk into Charles's apartment.
What a floozy that girl is!
She walked back into her apartment.
Not too long later, I heard glass crash. I assumed something broke, but I wasn't sure. The walls are on the thinner side, but you can't hear everything that goes on. I could hear muffled voices and maybe some hollering, but I couldn't tell who it was or what they were saying.
Did you ever hear anyone leave the apartment?
No, sir. I can usually hear when someone leaves the apartment, but I didn't hear anyone split. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Louise, I just have one last question for you. What time would you say that Charles and Diane came back to the apartment?
Well, Detective, I went to get my mail around 6:50, so they probably entered the flat around 6:55 or so.
All right. Thank you, Louise. You're free to go.
So Louise left, and Detective Grouse sat down at the table and put his head in his hands. Who did it? The prime suspect was Diane, but there was not enough evidence against her. The most evidence was the neighbors saying that she had never heard Diane leave, but Diane had an alibi. Both her and her mother had matching stories, so it must have been true, unless they had discussed it beforehand. If only there was more evidence. No fingerprints were left behind, no blood except for Charles's. Nothing. Could it have been the neighbor? Is that why she said she had never heard the door open? Perhaps she opened the door herself to kill Charles. But why would she do that? That's when he remembered the black box that was in Charles's pocket. He was going to propose to Diane. Diane couldn't have killed Charles. She was looking forward to becoming his wife. But if not her, who then? Grouse's head was spinning. The times they had given hadn't matched up. But that wasn't enough evidence against anyone. Grouse got up from the table, left the musty room, and walked over to Diane and her mother, Betty.
All right, Diane. I think I've asked enough questions for today. At this moment, we do not have enough evidence to figure out who killed your soon-to-be fiancé. But I promise you, we will get to the bottom of this.
Diane started to sob as she heard the news. Betty helped her up and they left the police station and walked to the car. As soon as they got in, Betty had some important questions for Diane.
Thank you for cooperating, Mother. Luckily, my alibi was strong enough to make them believe it wasn't me.
Diane, I still don't understand why you killed Charles. I mean, you loved him.
He was cheating on me with that wench, Louise. That night, he told me he was breaking up with me because he was in love with her. I didn't believe him at first. Then, he pulled out the ring he was going to give her. I knew what I had to do. If I couldn't have him, no one else could. He deserved it for cheating on me anyway. Death is natural, so why not take it into our own hands? It seems he had forgotten and needed a little reminder that I was the one for him. Well, on to the next one.
The WAKK Broadcasting System is pleased to bring you our third episode of Theater of the Mind, this one entitled The Siren's Call. Stay tuned for a night of suspense, a night that'll warp your imagination and bend your reality. You will grip the seat as you get closer and closer to the secret that guides our story. Perhaps you will be too afraid to finish, or too tantalized to leave. Nonetheless, our job is to keep you enticed. Stay tuned for the Siren's Call, if you dare. Welcome everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Great Treasure Hunt featuring the greatest treasure hunter in the world, Grant Houston. But before we get started, it's time to pull out those decoder rings. Got them? Alrighty. Today's code is HPLOQ. I'll say it one more time for you youngins, HPLOQ. Good luck solving.
HPLOQ. That's Pearl. Peril! That's Peril! Mom, today's clue is Peril.
That's nice, dear.
I'll get it.
Hello, young adventurer. It is I, Grant Houston.
Grant Houston? Is it really you? Mom, come quick.
Who is it, Willie?
It's Grant Houston.
Who?
Grant Houston, the greatest treasure hunter in the whole world. He's the man who found King Tut's tomb. He found the lost city of gold.
He's from your radio program, yes? Well, what a lovely surprise. What can we do for you, Mr. Hudson?
Houston, Mom.
No, Miss Smith. It's what I can do for you. What do you mean? Congratulations. Your boy Willie here is the winner of the Young Treasure Hunters sweepstakes. Your family has won a free trip to Peril Isle, a beautiful uncharted island where Willie here has a chance to look for real, honest-to-goodness treasure.
Holy mackerel! Mom, did you hear that? I won!
Goodness! Legend has it that the Sirens have left a priceless treasure somewhere on the island. All we need is an explorer with a moxie to find it. What do you say, Willie? Are you the man for the job?
Oh, wow! Sirens? Am I ever? Oh, can I, Mom? Please? Pretty please?
I don't know.
Pretty please? I'll behave.
Well, all right. But you have to ask your father, okay?
Oh boy!
Well then, young Willie, I give you my prized compass. May it guide you in all your travels.
Gee, thanks, mister. I'm gonna go start packing.
Wait for your father! So, what's this really about? It's mainly a publicity stunt, ma'am. The studio's not doing so good and they thought a little contest like this might help bring up the number of listeners. So there's no island? No, there is. It ain't half bad looking either. They've got a caretaker who knows the island better than the back of his hand. As for that treasure though, I wouldn't get your hopes up. I figured as much. Still, it sounds like a lovely time. Thank you, Mr. Houston. Pleasure is all mine, ma'am. Here's a brochure for the island if you and your husband decide to take a look. Adventurers out there and whatnot.
Mom, do you think I'll need one treasure hunting hat or two?
Oh boy, I better go handle that. Thanks again.
Now Mr. Smith is almost home, Willie eagerly awaiting his father's return. But is everything as Mr. Houston said it is? Honey, I'm home!
Dad, you're not gonna believe it! I won the radio contest!
Whoa, slow down, sport. Almost knocked your old man flat on his back. What's this about a radio contest?
I won it! The Great Treasure Hunt Reward. We're going to Peril Isle to find the Siren's treasure.
What? Barbara, what's he talking about?
Oh, just some radio program contest. Hi, honey. I tried to get him to wait till you got home.
Wait! Why would I wait? We gotta get packed. We gotta go.
Well, what does your sister think of it?
Who cares what Nancy thinks?
Sure. Someone's a bit of an eager beaver. Just how much does this prize cost anyways?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
Here. A man stopped by earlier to deliver the news, and he gave us a pamphlet. Take a look through it, John. It doesn't sound half bad.
Maybe I will. I have been meaning to take us on vacation sometime soon anyways. Mark's really been piling things up back at the office.
So it's settled then. Peril Isle, here we come.
You know, this place does look pretty cool. What the heck? Let's do it. Peril Isle, here we come.
Here we come.
There they go. Our treasure hunt has finally begun. The Smiths are off towards the so-called Peril Isle. Young Willie bracing himself for the adventure of a lifetime. But what, I wonder, will they find when they get there?
Mom, Willie's pushing me.
You started it, you knucklehead.
You take that back. I'm not a knucklehead. You're a knucklehead.
Mom, Nancy called me a knucklehead.
What? You started it.
Ugh, cut that out, both of you. This is your mother and I's vacation, too. Not just some great treasure hunt for you kids. Now we're almost to the docks. Can you handle yourselves until we get there, or am I gonna have to separate you two?
Yes, Dad.
Yes, Dad.
That's what I thought. Now, honey, what does that pamphlet say we're supposed to turn?
I can't believe it. I'm going on a real-life treasure hunt. Look, look. Did I show you my compass?
Only a dozen times. You know there's probably not even going to be any treasure, right? Just some dumb trail of clues with a crummy prize at the end.
Hey, you said you were excited about this vacation.
That was before Liz told me what islands are really like. She went to one last summer and told me all about it. She said that there were spiders everywhere.
Gross.
Yeah, super gross. We might as well just tell Dad to turn around. We're here! Now, the brochure said that someone would be here to take us to the island. Can anyone see anything? I swear it wasn't this foggy a minute ago.
Boom!
Ah!
Forgive me, we don't have fog this thick every day, you see, and visitors even less so. One must seize the opportunity when it so seldom presents itself.
Oh, it's all right. Are you,
I am the caretaker of the island. I'll be taking you over in a boat today, and I'll be there to help you with whatever you may need during your stay.
And you'll be bringing us back, right? How soon do you think that'll be? Nancy.
Oh, it's quite all right. The island isn't for everyone. You're gonna want to watch out for those caves. Don't venture too close, or you'll end up toast.
Ugh, the sky is such a drag. Hold on. We were assured that this would be a safe vacation.
Oh, come on, Mom. Please. We won't go near the caves, I promise.
Don't forget about the sirens. Ooh.
We already drove all the way here. We can't turn back now.
We could. Oh, well, all right. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I suppose it's okay. As long as you both stay away from those caves.
What is that?
I don't want anyone getting hurt, right?
Singing. What is that?
Willie. Willie. You listening?
Huh?
He said, don't go near the caves, genius. Oh, that settles it then. I'm so glad you've decided to stay. Please, allow me to take your bags. The boat is just at the end of the docks, so get nice and comfy. It's going to be a long ride.
As the Smiths head towards the island with the charismatic caretaker, something dangerous brews near.
Here's your baggage and your room keys, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if you'll follow me to the master suite. Children, your room will be on the first left. And Willie, it's my understanding you're a bit of a young treasure hunter. Down the hall from your room, you'll find an office. There you'll find everything you need to begin your adventure. Good luck!
Sweet! This place is really decked out, huh, Nancy? Bet you there aren't even any spiders in our room. I bet you we'll even see some sirens.
Willie, you're such a wet rag. Sirens aren't real. That guy was just messing with you. Anyways, I guess Liz was lying. This place looks really...
Ah! What was that?
I don't know. Probably just some thunder. I think I saw some dark clouds when we were sailing in. Come on, I want to go see our rooms.
Huh. It's a lot less roomy than I thought it'd be.
Dibs on the bed by the closet.
Fine by me. I'm gonna go check out that office the caretaker told us about. You wanna come with?
What? And help you on your lame scavenger hunt? I'll pass.
It's a treasure hunt. And I don't need your help. I'm a junior adventurer.
You're a junior fathead is what you are.
Your junior fathead is what you are. Fine. You can stay in here, lame brain, and I'm gonna go check out the office so I can start my adventure. Aw, it's boring. This is just an old janitor's closet. And what's this? A restaurant treasure map? No! I wanted a real adventure, not some tacky, wacky game for kids. This is the worst. I can't believe I traveled a whole day with Nancy for this. We shouldn't have even... Hey, wait a minute. It's that song again. Wow, that sure is pretty. I wonder if I could follow... No. Dad said not to go out near the caves. But, I mean, as long as I'm careful, I can find that treasure. I could be the first. Adventure back on. Wait, can't forget my compass. Is that one of those caves? But Dad said not to. I gotta get out of this rain. What happened to the singing? Echo!
Ah, Willie, I've been waiting for your arrival. You're a curious young man, of course. Only natural that you found the cave.
Who's that? Mr. Caretaker?
Yes, it's me.
What are you doing down here? What was that sound? That singing? Was it those sirens?
Don't worry about that for now. You come seeking the treasure, correct?
Is the treasure in here? Have I found it? Oh boy! Oh gee whiz, mister!
Look deeper into the cave, near your desires, you'll find a hypnotizing choir.
Huh? Choir? It is the sirens, isn't it?
Oh my! Look at the time. I'm afraid I must depart. Good luck, young boy, in your endeavors. Seek the treasure if you must, but be careful who you trust.
What do you mean, mister? There's that song again. He said, the dangerous choir. They probably have the treasure, but if they're dangerous... No, I'm a junior adventurer, and I came out here to find that treasure. I can handle this. What? Who's there? Who are you? Are you what the caretaker was talking about?
By the water, Willie.
The treasure in there?
Yes, Willie, it's here. All of the treasure you could ever want. Just come a little closer and it could be all yours.
Oh boy, I don't know if I should. Well, I guess I can just go in, get the treasure, and come back out. That singing sure does sound nice. I'll just get in real quick and get that treasure.